that.
All right, let's call this meeting to order of July 12th, 2022. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember James Blair.
Here.
Councilmember Joseph Richardson.
Present.
Councilmember Joshua Crossman.
Here.
Councilmember Holly Smith. Here. Councilmember Brian Hess.
Here.
Councilmember Lynn Roy. Here. Councilmember Terry Kaminsky. Here. Mayor Joe DePinto.
Here. Thank you. Can we get an agenda approval?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Somebody, Councilmember Blair, any comments? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Special presentations, we have none. Public comment, is there any blue cards filled out, or is anyone from the public wish to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? Right. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have the June 28th, 2022 regular meeting minutes and the July 5th, 2022 study session minutes, as well as the May 2022 check register position summary report. Is there any discussion, or excuse me, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second by Councilmember Roy. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right, new business. Okay, we have a proclamation for celebrating two of the businesses, two of the longest serving businesses in the city of Yelm, Tim's Pharmacy and Nisqually Valley News. So whereas the city of Yelm appreciates and recognizes longevity and success of two of our oldest businesses in Yelm, and whereas Tim's Pharmacy and the Nisqually Valley News were both founded 100 or more years ago, and whereas the Nisqually Valley News published their first edition on February 16th, 1922, whereas Tim's Pharmacy first opened their doors in 1919, and whereas these local businesses provide excellent services to the citizens of Yelm and the surrounding areas, whereas these companies survived the Great Depression, several wars, country's most recent economic downturn, while never failing to provide services and leadership to their customers to ensure long-term success. Whereas we hope these businesses will continue to serve our community for generations to come. And now therefore be it resolved that I, Joe DePinto, Mayor of the City of Yelm, do hereby proclaim July 13th, 2022 as Tim's Pharmacy Day and July 14th, 2022, Nisqually Valley News Day in the City of Yelm, and commend both businesses for their efforts to support the City of Yelm and the local community. Signed in the City of Yelm, Washington, this 12th day of July, 2022. I know that we have some representatives from each here. We will go ahead and give you this proclamation if you want to stick around. If you don't, we can give it to you right now. How about Tim's Pharmacy? Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
You want a quick photo?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Perfect.
You're right.
No photo bombs there.
Yeah.
And then we have another one for Nisqually Valley News.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Over here. Look at the whole team. Come on.
We all squeeze in there.
Yeah.
Would it be better if they got it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Do you want to?
Do you want to stand like right in front?
You want
of
to
the-
get right in front of the council right there with all?
We can do a lot of
That'd be
photo
good.
ops. Yeah, absolutely.
Just a good photo.
Thanks a lot, Cody.
Now or?
Come on, show us
Sure, you
quick
all
Law
want to
City.
stand up, council? You want us to, you can put.
You want a few more?
Yes.
Stand with my local drug.
Yeah, why don't you come on up? We'll do one for each of you. So,
Okay.
let's do this one. All I do is.
They last forever.
I remember that.
Exactly. Elijah, get over here.
Jody just left.
Plug it down.
I know, I'm sure.
I'm super tall. I'm super tall. It's fine. Yes. Oh, yes. Trust me.
Oh, we just got the camera, that's what.
Get on the end for the city as well.
Thank you for the indulgence, Council.
Am I taller than you? I always get.
One, two, Linda's hiding. 1, 2, 3. She plans it.
There's one more Desiree.
Ready, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
We need to get him a new camera.
Wait, don't say yet. Thank you.
These guys give me my medications legally. Legal drug dealers.
You want your right? Oh, cool,
Let's go
cool.
to Tim's, right? I don't want to put you on the spot, like, no, I get mine at Walmart.
Absolutely, thanks for coming out. Your kids want to come out?
They really want to meet, but it's not happening.
Yeah, I like the mayor here.
Joel?
I'm coming, I'm coming.
1, 2, 3.
One more.
Thank you for filling my prescription.
You're welcome.
He was like, thank you.
I think it's first time.
What was your name?
This table.
All right, thank you, council, for indulgence of that photograph for the couple. Let's move on, under new business to item B, ordinance number 1085. This is 2022's second quarter budget amendment. Stephanie, would you like to come up and explain this, please?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. And this is not going to be as exciting as proclamation, sorry. So before you is the second quarter 2022 budget amendment. So we adopted the original budget in 2020 with ordinance 1074. We've had 2 amendments to this biennial budget. Tonight in the budget amendment, I discussed it in detail with the finance committee. In the amendment, we do have 4 grants. We have the RMSA Loss Prevention Grant, the Education and Innovation Center Grant, the Housing Action Plan Grant, and the Habitat Conservation Plan grants. Those grants total over $1.16 million. So what we do is we add the revenue from the grant and the planned expenditures for the grant to our budget, and that's what those are doing. Other items in the budget amendment, the cost of 2 new police officers to attend the Criminal Justice Training Commission grant or academy. That's about $8,200. We have an additional 0.5 FTE to cover the front counter. As you are probably aware, when we got the water rights, we decided that we did need an additional administrative assistant over at Public Works to handle the permitting. That took away that full-time person from City Hall, and so we just need to backfill that just for coverage of vacations and lunches and that sort of thing. The cost of that is $6,000 to the general fund. The rest the total of $15,000 will be covered by the 3 utilities. And then we did have a water irrigation bill that the general government city owed to the water department. There was an error between utility billing or a miscommunication between Public Works when these irrigation accounts were turned on and when it was found by utility billing. And when they discovered the error, we're going back and correcting that. We're also auditing all of the irrigation accounts to make sure that anybody that's turned off for the winter and then gets turned back on, that we make sure that we start that billing process. So Erica in utility billing is doing a fabulous job auditing all of our accounts for us. So are there any questions on this budget amendment?
Stephanie. All right, council, if there's no questions, entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'll move to ordinance 1085.
Motion to approve ordinance 1085, seconded by Councilmember Kaminsky. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Thank you, council, and thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to old business. There is none scheduled. On to updates, departments. I will go ahead and cover the department heads in my report. So let's go with the council members. Starting off with Councilmember Kaminsky.
Well, I attended the chamber member appreciation lunch today. Excellent afternoon, delicious food by Steel Barrel Barbecue. And the only other thing I have is that the Arts Commission Task Force new members will be meeting July 27th, 6:30 at the community center. And they will be talking about the extensive application process to apply with the state to be a formal creative arts district for the city of Yelm. So they'll be meeting next week. That is all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember Kaminsky. Councilmember Roy. All
I have no updates since last time.
right. Councilmember Hess.
Yes, Intercity Transit Authority was a very good meeting. They were talking about their mission statement, vision, and they are going through a review of that at this time. Everything looks really good. They are working at this time on trying to get back up to pre-COVID levels, as well as where they're supposed to be in reference to Proposition 1. What that means is that they're trying to get all the bus drivers that they're supposed to have to cover all the routes that they were talking about. Additionally, if I remember correct, Yelm, as soon as they get some more resources put together, the bus 94 will be looking at about every 30 minutes, if I remember correct. They are looking at that, and they are also monitoring what's going on with Yelm's growth, as well as the bypass, so that we can have future service brought to us, such as maybe a light express that goes to the Lacey Hawk Prairie area or somewhere else, instead of having to go all the way downtown Olympia to change buses to go somewhere. In addition, they are working on reaching out to a variety of businesses, as well as on post for JBLM, and trying to develop rideshare programs for the community at large. Transportation Policy Board will be meeting tomorrow to go over the process of how proposals of projects are approved. They're working through some things. The staff will be giving a really good detailed information about that. There was nothing new to report in reference to the housing. Still waiting for a rough draft of the memorandum of understanding for all the communities to for us to vote on and then be part of, if we choose to continue to be part of. Other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Thank you, Councilmember Hess. Councilmember Smith.
I attended the Southeast Thurston Fire Authority meeting. It was very short. They just did some budget items this month and then went into executive session, which of course I couldn't go into. So did that, and then also attended the first round of the beautification applications in that committee. So, and that's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Crossman.
Question for Public Works. From Mr. Cody Colt. The people of Yelm would like to know, why did you tear out that brand new sidewalk at the park?
Oh, yeah. So if you notice, we put a sidewalk in to the community garden. What we do when the sidewalk gets installed by a company, we do an inspection or a walkthrough afterwards to accept or decline the sidewalk. The sidewalk, if you ever walked that old one that was there for just about 2 weeks, we declined it. It wasn't up to standards, didn't meet ADA standards, and didn't go with the plans we gave them. So they ripped out the sidewalk and it got replaced, and it's forming right now. I walked it today. It is amazing, great. It'll be a sight to behold when it's open next week. So get your scooters, get your whatevers, and ride on that sidewalk in about a week, and you're good to go. So that is the reason. Thank you for asking the question, Councilman Carson.
Thank you. And then I have a little thing to read here. I was asked to make this meeting a little spicier, so I'd like to do that, especially with the paper here. It makes it a little more interesting, right? So recently, as many know, a private email I wrote on 25th got a little bit of excitement. So just to address that real quick here, since nobody decided to ask me about it. So I'm a councilman, we are a councilman, and with that comes some potential influence. As council, we don't have a lot of power over anybody or anything really. You know, as you guys sat here, you see it's budget stuff and But some people expect some kind of influence, so we have to keep that in mind, but we are citizens of Yelm and we have a duty to respond to people's concerns and things that we see as well. And be they right or wrong, as judged by others, we still have to proceed. So since we do have that potential influence, we have protocols we have to abide by. So one of those protocols is we can't go to anybody and just say anything we want. We have to be respectful of chain of command, so to speak. And so I had a concern come up with me and I saw that, so I emailed the mayor privately. I included the council as well because I believe in accountability, because I'm not perfect, I'm human. And so I included those all with that. And so the mayor, when he makes a judgment call what to do with that. He can proceed with it, he cannot, he can, it's his call at that point. And so in that email, he passed it on to the next person in line. That next person also has that same ability to make a judgment call of what to do with that information. That person made a call, made an appropriate action, and with the situation, and I replied to, great, sounds good, thank you. And then that was that. That was all it was. There was no threats, no one got punished, no one was in danger of getting fired or anything like that. It was a done deal and it was in the system. The system worked, the protocol worked as it was supposed to. And unfortunately, some people don't see it that way. They twist it, and which is kind of a shame. And I hope that doesn't discourage other council and future council members from using those protocols and those systems. Because sometimes things aren't for the public eye because of that. Some things that need to be handled internally. If you've done any service work, you know that. For many, I've done a lot of years of service work. Sometimes things are just meant to be private, to get discussed and hashed out. So that's what happened there. And if anybody wants to ask me further, discuss further, I'm more than happy to. I'm a pretty open guy, so. And that's it.
Councilmember
Yeah, that's why I say a lot of bad things sometimes, so I gotta be careful, man. I know I say some stupid stuff. No, I appreciate that and everybody having some resolve in that. It's really good. Yeah, so I had the finance committee meeting and Stephanie just does a good job and really encouraged to find out with Erica's research. And it's helping me have a lot of trust in the city and Yelm finances and watching where things go. And this guy's always over here making sure we know exactly where things are going. So I appreciate Blair for that too. And so I just think we have some good level-headed people and watching where things head. It's encouraging. So thank you for your good work, Stephanie, and even with Erica. So yeah, it's just a privilege to be on city council and get some trust back. So it's good.
Councilmember Richardson. Councilmember Blair.
Committee, that was it. But since no one asked about it, and you already know what I'm probably gonna say. And that budget is a pretty large number, 55,000-ish. What it is, and I'm doing this because no one asked about it, and there doesn't need to be any surprises later. What happened is they turned off the irrigation at the park. The city still has a water bill, even though we're paying it to ourselves. We act as the water company. It's always to be in certain places. What happened is 2019 winter, irrigation was shut off. Winter of 2018 shut off. Spring of 19 it was turned back on. However, at that time, I don't know, communication was lost, something didn't happen, billing didn't restart.
COVID.
Basically, from then on up until now, the city hasn't been paying an irrigation bill. So that's $55,000 that bill that we gotta pay. That's what that is. Basically, it's gonna go from general fund over to the water fund, bills paid, and they are going to keep track to make sure that never happens again.
Yes. And thank you. That's pretty accurate. Do you want to add anything, Stephanie, or does that cover it pretty well?
That covers it pretty well, but we just said sewer fund.
Reclaimed water.
Okay.
It is the reclaimed water from the sewer fund.
We are, I
You
mean,
have to pay for it.
Yeah, and we are paying ourselves too, though, so it's not like a huge impact. It is an impact.
We gotta pay the bills.
Yeah, it's paying the city, just like anyone else that uses our reclaimed water. We have to pay for that service as well. So we are fixing that error that happened
Yep, we're
years
gonna
ago.
correct it, and we're auditing all of the irrigation accounts, and even though it's reclaimed water, like I said in our committee meeting, we still have to pay for the infrastructure to carry that reclaimed water to all the different irrigation meters, so cleaning it up and putting in controls to make sure it doesn't happen again.
One other thing. With all the new construction happening, and this is gonna be a further conversation. I would, Brian, I know you're gonna like this one. I wanna make sure we're running Purple Line out to those new areas. I don't know if we wanna make that to where it's available residential or at least the common areas. But rather than using our water for that, find something to use the purple water for.
Everybody knows what purple is, it's listening.
Yeah, it's reclaimed
That
water.
is used toilet water that's clean.
Reclaimed water, but yeah,
Could be dishwasher water.
it's reclaimed water, and you're absolutely right. We do have longer plans where we do plan to expand in that, tearing up streets though. And
No, I mean, the new construction.
sure,
So, for instance, out past Tomatera, where there's about to be a whole other Yelm built. As that goes in, let's lay it in.
yeah, and I think we do that on our main arterials, but do you want to talk about that? Cody?
Yeah, so good on you, council members, and I'm glad you bring that up because council initiated that kind of 2 years ago. So when Tomatera built, we required them to do that. We're doing our development guidelines right now to expand that to other developments. If they have common areas, they have to do reclaimed water to those areas. So you'll notice that the purple line was extended all along that new road up to Tomatera to the new master plan community area. So we will have purple line out there. And there already is purple line to those common areas. There will be more to the new common areas on the other side of that. So we'll keep that extension. Look for development guideline updates coming to you soon. That'll have other people requiring to do the same thing to extend that purple line. So good on you. That's very important.
Thank you.
On some of those, and for me in the past council as well, some was important. I know a lot of you all want that as well, so we're doing it. But yeah, thank you for the comment, Councilor Blair. All right, I will get into it with the department updates. Our 2021 financial and single audit begin next week. Single audit is for the award of federal funding. Closing order, our second order for staff and council. We did that, it should be in August, the 1st of August. So for those council members that put those orders in, they'll be in here shortly. Regarding the beautification grant update, the 2022 amount that was approved was $25,000 that y'all approved a month or two ago. The committee has now met and reviewed applications. There were 5 applications were submitted totaling just under $25,000. Staff, we had a meeting here on yesterday, and most of those applications we need a little bit more from, just a little more information or a little bit something else. And so we are gonna meet again on August 1st to review those to get those requirements from those other those applicants, and we're gonna review them again, and then we'll submit it to council right after that. So this is little things, but it seemed just about every application needed just a little bit more or some clarification on something. And so that's it. But other than that, we had some good applications. I personally liked a couple. But I'll let you guys decide that. Y'all decide that when it comes out, what happens with it. Anyway, for me, I met with Congresswoman Strickland just a few days ago, along with the mayors and other county executives, talked about different projects going on in each of our communities. And basically she's asking about what federal funding she can try to leverage for the city of Yelm and for other cities in her district. And the one thing that I kind of brought up besides our big, obviously our transportation projects, was the VFW and American Legion's project to try to create the Veterans Hub. I know it's something that's really important to them. A lot of our community members being, a military community here. So we're gonna push for that, and hopefully we're gonna We had also had a meeting with the VFW and American Legion here a few weeks ago as well. I don't know if we had a meeting after that, council meeting after that were explained, but anyway, we're getting the process where they're gonna have more official plans, some architects done, and we'll go ahead and present that, probably at a study session to city council, that you'll take a look at that and see what you want to do for hopefully funding for next year, whether you want to add to the legislative agenda or not. So more info on that coming up. Other than that, just want to remind council members that all emails, anything that you send, a lot of that's trackable through public records requests. So even though if you might intend it just for one person, it can still be requested, and it has been in this particular, the issue that Councilmember Crossman brought up, it's been requested. So all those emails have been released, and just want to remind you, anything you send out on your professional emails here, or other ways too, social media and all that, it can be tracked. So be very professional on what you say when you're sending out emails. Just pretend like your mother's going to see it, you know. So don't be embarrassed about anything you say. Keep it professional, and shouldn't have any issues. Other than that,
My mother.
as if someone, yeah, all right. Anyway, moving on. Is there any motion or anything good for the order?
I have a question if that's okay.
Yeah.
The outside agency funding request that is due next week, have the agencies have the outside agencies been contacted?
So we have it on our Facebook and our website. I think Joe was going to talk to one of them, and then I was going to talk to another.
So not all of them have been contacted
Those
yet.
were there were only two that I identified that we have worked with in the past that we were going to reach out to, those two existing ones.
Mhm.
Okay,
But we have not reached out to all the nonprofits in the city. No.
sure. Okay.
But we will be sure to do that. We'll work on that, make sure.
I can talk to you right after the meeting.
Councilmember Kaminsky.
The veterans group that you were mentioning, are those the same people that we offered the old city hall to an office in? Is that the same?
Different leadership now, but yeah, it's so yes and no. So moving back to where the Boys and Girls Club are now, Councilmember Kaminsky and Councilmember Blair were on at that time, we decided to give most of that to the Boys and Girls Club, and a portion of that was designed for, not designed, but was meant to go towards a Veterans Hub, including the VFW, the American Foreign Legion. And there's a few other groups, but not all of them are part of this. So no, not all of them are working with the Veterans Hub on this one, but the two main groups are, so.
So different people, and because they didn't step up before, that's why they gave.
Not necessarily, just different leadership. I mean, it's been a few years now, so it's, Councilmember Blair.
In regards to that, there was a lot of renovations that would have needed to be done in order to make that happen. They didn't have the money to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the biggest reason. I mean, obviously we want. Like I was a proponent of having the Boys and Girls Club having that whole place. I just didn't think logistically it made sense to split it up like that. And obviously now it is the whole thing, and they are utilizing, the Boys and Girls Club are utilizing the whole building. A Veterans Hub, it takes a lot more room, in my opinion, some other council members too. And so having their own standalone Veterans Hub is going to be great for those organizations, for this community in general, to get those
Are we
resources.
providing a space for that, or is that just?
No, the plans it would be built on the VFW's current, or
the Legion's-
yeah, I think it's the Legion's, the VFW field, whatever that one is, whoever owns it, on that location right there. And yeah, the city would help with it. There's talks of different partnerships that we could do, but it's all very early talks right now at this point.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions?
Move to adjourn.
Mayor DePinto?
Councilmember S.
Yes, speaking about the veterans organizations, is it possible that we can get a drop-down menu on the city website that will link veterans to the various organizations that are located within the city of Yelm
It's possible.
under resources that we can have like to their website, as well as maybe to like to the VFW and all. I mean, and the reason why I'm asking is I was approached by the veteran organizations about doing something like that. And if it could be possible, because there are many veterans and military members within our community that can utilize the the Yelm, City of Yelm website, and under resources, drop down something for veterans.
All right, yeah, it is possible. And we'll look into the doing that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Russ. Any other comments? There's been a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Crossman. Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Meeting adjourned.